1. Hey there, car enthusiasts! Today we're diving into a classic American icon, the 1966 Chevrolet Nova 2. This particular beauty is currently up for grabs on Craigslist with an asking price of $15,000. Let's take a closer look at what this vintage ride has to offer. First off, let's address the elephant in the room, the odometer reading. With just 1,000 miles on the clock, you might be thinking, wow, that's incredibly low for a car that's over half a century old. Well, here's the deal. The seller mentions that the Nova has undergone a complete rebuild, which likely explains the low mileage. It's essential to verify the extent of the rebuild and whether the odometer was reset during the process. Now, let's talk about the heart of this beast. Under the hood, you'll find the original inline-six 194 engine, which is a testament to the Nova's authenticity. The seller also mentions that the car is equipped with a single-barrel carburetor, which is true to the era. However, it's worth noting that this setup might not deliver the most thrilling performance by modern standards. But hey, that's part of the charm, right? One of the standout features of this 66 Nova is the automatic 4-speed 700R4 transmission. This upgrade provides a nice balance between smooth shifts and improved fuel efficiency compared to the original Powerglide transmission. It's a welcome addition that enhances the overall driving experience. The seller also specifies that the Nova is a 4-door model, which is great news for those who appreciate the practicality of extra doors. Whether you're cruising with family or friends, everyone can hop in and enjoy the ride. Now let's talk about the condition. The seller doesn't provide much detail, so it's crucial to thoroughly inspect the car before making a decision. Check for any rust, dents, or signs of wear and tear. Given the age of the vehicle, it's reasonable to expect some imperfections, but you'll want to ensure that there are no major issues lurking beneath the surface. One interesting aspect of this listing is that the seller is open to accepting cryptocurrency as payment. If you're into digital currencies, this could be an attractive option. Just make sure you're comfortable with the process and the potential risks involved. Overall, this 1966 Chevrolet Nova 2 presents an exciting opportunity for classic car enthusiasts. With its original engine, rebuilt components, and 4-speed automatic transmission, it offers a blend of authenticity and modern convenience. However, as with any vintage vehicle purchase, it's crucial to do your due diligence. Inspect the car thoroughly, verify the seller's claims, and make an informed decision based on your budget and expectations. If you're ready to take a trip down memory lane with this 66 Nova, head over to Craigslist and take a closer look. Who knows? You might just find yourself behind the wheel of this classic American beauty. 2. All right, let's dive a little deeper into this 1967 Chevrolet El Camino, shall we? The El Camino has always been a unique vehicle, blending the utility of a truck with the style and comfort of a car, and the 1967 model year is particularly sought after by collectors and enthusiasts alike. Why? Well, it was the first year of the second-generation El Camino, which featured a more streamlined and muscular look than its predecessor. Under the hood, this El Camino is packing a 327 small-block engine, which was a popular choice back in the day. It's paired with a 4-speed manual transmission, giving you full control over the power delivery. Now, the seller does mention that the engine has a lifter tick and has been sitting for the past 6 months, but that's not necessarily a deal-breaker. With a little bit of maintenance, and perhaps some minor repairs, this engine could be running like a top in no time. One of the standout features of this particular El Camino is the braking system. The seller has recently converted it from drum brakes to performance Willwood disc brakes with slotted and drilled rotors. This is a significant upgrade that will greatly improve the car's stopping power and overall safety. And with only about 50 miles on them, you can be sure that these brakes are in excellent condition. Another nice bonus is the inclusion of a cold case electric fan. This is a high-quality aftermarket part that can help keep the engine running cool, even in hot weather. The seller purchased it for $650, but hasn't had a chance to install it yet. So that's something you could tackle once you get the car home. Moving on to the interior, it's in pretty decent shape for a car of this age. The seats have no rips or tears, which is a big plus. However, the headliner is sagging a bit, which is a common issue with older cars. It's not a difficult fix though, and there are plenty of tutorials online that can walk you through the process. The dashboard and odometer are also in working condition, which is great to see. It's always nice when the original components are still functioning properly after all these years. One thing to keep in mind is that this El Camino has an R12 air conditioning system. While it's a neat feature to have, R12 refrigerant is no longer produced due to its negative impact on the ozone layer. As a result, it can be difficult and expensive to recharge the system if it ever needs it. But if you're not too concerned about having a functioning AC system, then this shouldn't be a major issue. Overall, this 1967 Chevrolet El Camino is a solid choice for anyone in the market for a classic car with a bit of utility. It has a cool look, some nice upgrades, and a price tag that won't break the bank. Plus, with a little bit of work, you could have this baby running and driving like new in no time. So if you're ready to take on a fun project and own a piece of automotive history, this El Camino is definitely worth considering. 3. We've got a real gem for you. A 1965 Plymouth Valiant that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at $12,500, and let me tell you, it's a real head-turner. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Valiant. The seller mentions that the car is in very good condition for its age, with only a few minor blemishes such as dings and chips. But overall, this Valiant has been mostly garaged kept, which is evident in its shiny exterior. The seller notes that with a good wash and wax, this car will shine up nicely. And the best part? There's no rust to be found on this classic ride. Now let's talk about what's under the hood. The engine has been completely rebuilt several years back, with less than 20,000 miles on it since then. The odometer reads a little over 100,000 miles, which is pretty low for a car of this age. The seller mentions that the powerful 225/6 engine starts right up and runs amazingly well with no issues. It's clear that this Valiant has been well maintained and serviced throughout its life, making it a reliable daily driver if you so choose. Moving on to the exterior, this Valiant is all original and all stock, which is a huge plus for collectors and enthusiasts. The car even comes with its original black plate, adding to its authenticity. And if you're a fan of convertibles, you'll be happy to know that this Valiant has a brand new convertible top as well as the original boot for the top. The interior of this Valiant is also in very good condition with minimal wear and tear. Everything works as it should, including the factory power top. And like the exterior, the interior is all stock and all original, which is a testament to how well this car has been cared for over the years. Now, the seller does mention that they're selling this Valiant due to financial reasons, as they're doing some remodeling on their house. It's clear that this car holds a special place in their heart, as they mention growing up in a Valiant themselves. And while it's sad to see it go, the seller hopes that the right buyer will come along and appreciate this true beauty for what it is. Overall, this 1965 Plymouth Valiant is a fantastic find. It's a classic car that's been well maintained, has low miles, and is all original. Whether you're looking for a reliable daily driver or a stunning addition to your collection, this Valiant is definitely worth checking out. So if you're in the market for a vintage ride with a ton of character, don't miss out on this opportunity to own a piece of automotive history. 4. We've got a real classic for you. A 1968 Ford Fairlane 500 that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at $9,500, and let me tell you, it's a real steal. First off, let's talk about the specs of this Fairlane. It's a 4-door model, which means plenty of room for you and your passengers. Under the hood, you'll find a 289 cubic inch V8 engine, which is paired with an automatic transmission. This combination makes for a smooth and powerful ride that's sure to put a smile on your face every time you get behind the wheel. Now let's talk about the condition of this Fairlane. The seller mentions that the car is in great condition, which is impressive considering its age. They've owned the car for over 12 years, which is a testament to how well it's been cared for. It's clear that this Fairlane has been loved and appreciated by its owner, and it shows in the car's overall appearance and performance. One thing to note is that the odometer reads just over 59,000 miles, which is incredibly low for a car of this age. While it's possible that the odometer has rolled over, it's also possible that this Fairlane has been driven sparingly over the years, which would explain its excellent condition. The seller doesn't mention any specific details about the exterior or interior of the car, but based on the photos provided, it looks to be in great shape. The paint appears to be shiny and vibrant, and the chrome trim is gleaming. The interior looks to be in good condition as well, with no visible rips or tears in the upholstery. Now, it's worth noting that the seller is firm on the price of $9,500, and they're not interested in any trades. This is a fair price for a classic car in this condition, and it's clear that the seller knows what they have. If you're in the market for a vintage ride that's been well maintained and loved, this Fairlane is definitely worth considering. Overall, this 1968 Ford Fairlane 500 is a fantastic find. It's a classic car that's been well cared for, has low miles, and is in great condition. Whether you're a collector or just someone who appreciates the beauty and craftsmanship of vintage automobiles, this Fairlane is sure to impress. So if you're ready to own a piece of automotive history, don't hesitate to reach out to the seller and make this beauty yours. 5. We've got a real treat for you. A 1984 Chevrolet Corvette that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at $10,500, and let me tell you, it's a fantastic deal for a classic American sports car. First off, let's talk about the mileage on this Corvette. With just 74,286 original miles on the odometer, this car has been driven sparingly over the years. That's incredibly low mileage for a car that's almost 40 years old, and it's a testament to how well this Corvette has been cared for by its previous owners. Now, let's talk about the condition of this Corvette. The seller mentions that everything works excellently, which is always a good sign. They also note that all 4 tires are in good condition, which means you won't have to worry about replacing them anytime soon. The interior is also described as being in good condition, which is impressive considering the age of the car. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 8-cylinder engine that's sure to provide plenty of thrills on the open road. The seller doesn't mention any specific details about the engine, but based on the car's overall condition, it's safe to assume that it's been well maintained over the years. The exterior of this Corvette is finished in a beautiful blue paint color that really makes it stand out from the crowd. The seller doesn't mention any specific details about the paint, but based on the photos provided, it looks to be in great shape with no visible scratches or dings. One thing to note is that this Corvette is equipped with an automatic transmission, which may be a plus or a minus depending on your personal preferences. Some enthusiasts prefer the control and engagement of a manual transmission, while others appreciate the convenience and ease of use that an automatic provides. Overall, this 1984 Chevrolet Corvette is a fantastic find. It's a classic American sports car that's been well maintained, has low mileage, and is in great condition both inside and out. The price of $10,500 is very reasonable for a car of this caliber, and it's clear that the seller is motivated to find a new owner who will appreciate and care for this beauty as much as they have. If you're in the market for a vintage Corvette that's ready to hit the road and turn heads wherever it goes, this 1984 model is definitely worth checking out. With its powerful engine, beautiful blue paint, and excellent overall condition, it's sure to provide years of driving enjoyment and pride of ownership. So don't hesitate to reach out to the seller and make this classic Corvette yours today. 6. We've got an absolute beast of a car for you. A 1965 Oldsmobile Cutlass that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at $13,000, and let me tell you, it's worth every penny. First off, let's talk about the heart of this Cutlass, the engine. The seller has just installed a brand new 455 cubic inch V8 that's been professionally built to put out an astounding 506 horsepower and over 526 lb-ft of torque. That's some serious power, folks. The engine features a Joe Mondello cam with 575 lift, Keith Jackson aluminum flat-top pistons with a 10.51 compression ratio and a balanced and blueprinted bottom end. The heads have been polished and ported, and the engine is topped off with a brand new quick-fuel Brawler 850 double-pumper carburetor and a Mallory ignition distributor. This thing is built to run and run hard. Now let's talk about the rest of the drivetrain. The seller mentions that the car still has its original 2-speed Powerglide transmission and a stock 10-bolt rear end. While these components may not be as flashy as the engine, they're tried and true pieces that have been proven to hold up to the power of a big block V8. Moving on to the exterior, the seller describes the body as being really clean, which is always a good sign. The car is finished in a classic white paint color that really makes it stand out from the crowd. The seller doesn't mention any specific details about the paint or body, but based on the photos provided, it looks to be in great shape with no visible rust or damage. Inside, you'll find a set of bucket seats that the seller describes as being clean. The interior looks to be in good condition overall, with no visible rips or tears in the upholstery. The seller doesn't mention any specific details about the interior, but based on the photos provided, it looks to be a comfortable and inviting place to spend some time. One thing to note is that this Cutlass has just 75,000 miles on the odometer, which is relatively low for a car of this age. While it's possible that the odometer has been rolled over, it's also possible that this car has been driven sparingly over the years and has been well maintained by its previous owners. Overall, this 1965 Oldsmobile Cutlass is an absolute monster of a car. With its professionally built 455 cubic inch V8, clean body, and comfortable interior, it's the perfect car for anyone who loves classic muscle cars and wants a ride that's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. The price of $13,000 may seem a bit steep at first glance, but when you consider the amount of work and money that's gone into building this car, it's actually a pretty good deal. If you're in the market for a vintage muscle car that's ready to hit the road and tear up the pavement, this 1965 Cutlass is definitely worth checking out. With its powerful engine, clean title, and overall great condition, it's sure to provide years of driving enjoyment and pride of ownership. So don't hesitate to reach out to the seller and make this beast of a car yours today.
7. All right, folks, it's time to buckle up and get ready for a wild ride because have I got a car for you? Feast your eyes on this absolutely stunning 1971 Ford Maverick that's just begging for a new owner. And the best part, it can be yours for the low price of just $13,500. Now, I know what you might be thinking, that's a lot of dough for an old car, but trust me when I say that this Maverick is worth every penny. First of all, just look at it. The exterior is in pristine condition with a shine so bright you could use it as a mirror. And don't even get me started on the chrome trim. It's so shiny you might need sunglasses just to look at it. But this car isn't just a pretty face, it's got the guts to back it up. Under the hood, you'll find a gas-powered engine that purrs like a kitten. And with just 73,000 miles on the odometer, this baby's got plenty of life left in it. That's right, you heard me correctly. 73,000 original miles. That's like finding a unicorn in your backyard. But wait, there's more. The interior of this Maverick is just as impressive as the exterior. The upholstery is clean and free of any rips or tears, and the dashboard looks like it just rolled off the assembly line. And with an automatic transmission, even your grandma could drive this thing. Now, I know you might be thinking, but where is this magnificent machine located? Well, fear not, my friends. The seller has provided a handy-dandy Google Maps link to 3160 Dolomite Avenue, so you can easily plan your trip to come pick up your new pride and joy. But here's the real kicker. This Maverick has a clean title. That means no shady history, no hidden damage, just a straight-up, honest-to-goodness classic car that's ready to hit the road. So what are you waiting for? Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Pick up the phone, call the seller, and make this 1971 Ford Maverick yours today. Trust me, you won't regret it. And if anyone asks where you got such an incredible ride, just tell them your pal at insert your name here sent you. Happy driving! 8. We've got a real treat for you. A 1979 Cadillac Eldorado that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at $14,000, and let me tell you it's worth every penny. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Eldorado. The seller describes it as being in excellent condition, and based on the photos provided, I have to agree. The exterior is finished in a beautiful brown paint color that's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. The vinyl roof is also in pristine condition with no visible tears or damage. It's clear that this Eldorado has been well cared for over the years, and it shows in every detail. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful V8 gas 351 motor that the seller says runs good. This engine is known for its smooth power delivery and reliability, making it the perfect choice for a classic luxury car like the Eldorado. The seller also mentions that the car has factory everything with no modifications, which is a big plus for collectors and purists. Moving on to the interior, the seller notes that there are no tears in the seats and that the vinyl is pristine. This is impressive considering the age of the car,
and it's a testament to how well it's been maintained over the years. The car also features power seats, which is a nice touch of luxury that you don't often find in cars of this era. One of the standout features of this Eldorado is the spoke wheels that are fitted all the way around. These wheels give the car a unique and cool look that really sets it apart from other classic cars on the road. The seller also mentions that the car has air conditioning that blows cold, which is a must-have feature for anyone who plans on driving this beauty during the summer months. Another thing that's great about this Eldorado is its size. At 204 inches bumper to bumper, it's a big car that makes a big impression. But despite its size, the seller notes that it still fits in a standard garage, which is a big plus for anyone who wants to keep their classic car protected from the elements. Overall, this 1979 Cadillac Eldorado is a fantastic find. It's a beautiful classic car that's been well maintained and cared for over the years, with a powerful V8 engine, luxurious interior, and unique spoke wheels. The price of $14,000 may seem a bit steep at first glance, but when you consider the rarity and condition of this car, it's actually a pretty good deal. If you're in the market for a classic luxury car that's sure to turn heads and provide years of driving enjoyment, this Eldorado is definitely worth checking out. With its clean title, excellent condition, and impressive features, it's the perfect car for anyone who appreciates the finer things in life. So don't hesitate to reach out to the seller and make this beauty yours today. 9. All right, let's dive a little deeper into this 1957 Oldsmobile 88, shall we? This car is a true icon of the 1950s, a time when American automakers were all about big, bold, and beautiful designs. The 57 Olds 88 is no exception, with its sleek lines, chrome accents, and those classic tail fins that just scream retro cool. Under the hood, you'll find a 350 engine, which was a popular choice for Oldsmobile back in the day. It's got plenty of power to get you down the road in style, and the fact that it's still running strong is a testament to the quality of engineering that went into these cars. The automatic transmission is a nice touch too. It makes this classic ride accessible to a wider range of drivers who might not be comfortable with a manual gearbox. Now, I want to be upfront about the condition of this particular 57 Olds 88. The seller mentions that it needs some cosmetic work, and that's something to keep in mind if you're considering making an offer. But here's the thing. A little patina and wear can actually add to the charm of a vintage car like this. It's a reminder that this car has lived a life and has stories to tell. And if you're handy with tools or know a good body shop, you could have this beauty-looking showroom ready in no time. The interior is another selling point for this car. It's all original, which is a rarity these days. You'll be sitting on the same seats, gripping the same steering wheel, and looking out at the world through the same windshield as someone did back in 1957. That's a pretty cool feeling if you ask me. And who knows, maybe you'll even find some vintage treasures tucked away in the glove box or under the seats. At the end of the day, buying a classic car like this 1957 Oldsmobile 88 is about more than just transportation. It's about owning a piece of history, a rolling work of art that turns heads and sparks conversations wherever it goes. And at $15,000, this particular example is priced pretty competitively for the market. You could easily spend twice that much on a fully restored 57 Olds 88. So if you're willing to put in a little work and have some patience, this could be a great investment. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's always a good idea to do your due diligence before making an offer. Have a mechanic check it out, take it for a test drive, and make sure all the paperwork is in order. But if everything checks out and you're ready to take the plunge, I say go for it. Life's too short to drive boring cars, and this 1957 Oldsmobile 88 is anything but boring. 10. We're taking a closer look at a real rarity, a 1958 Meteor Niagara 300 that's up for grabs on Craigslist. And get this, the seller is asking just $11,500 for this unique piece of Canadian automotive history. Now, for those of you who might not be familiar with the Meteor brand, let me give you a quick rundown. Meteor was a Canadian marque produced by Ford Motor Company of Canada from 1949 to 1976. The Niagara 300 was a mid-range model, sitting above the base Niagara but below the top-of-the-line Rideau. And this particular example is a real head-turner, with its sleek black paint job and classic two-door sedan body style. But what really sets this 58 Meteor apart is what's underneath that vintage sheet metal. The seller has gone to great lengths to update the running gear, mounting the body on a Crown Victoria frame and chassis. That means this classic ride has all the benefits of modern suspension, brakes, and steering, while still maintaining its vintage looks. And with a 351 cubic inch V8 engine under the hood, mated to an overdrive automatic transmission, this Meteor has plenty of power to get you down the road in style. The seller notes that both the body and interior are in nice shape, which is a big plus for a car of this age. And here's the best part: there's no rust. That's right, this Canadian-built beauty has managed to avoid the tin worm, which is a real testament to how well it's been cared for over the years. Other nice touches include power steering and power brakes, which make this vintage ride a breeze to drive. And with all the upgrades and modifications, this Meteor easily qualifies for modified collector plates, which is a nice bonus for any classic car enthusiast. The seller is pretty firm on the price, and they're not interested in any trades. But honestly, at $11,500, this unique piece of Canadian automotive history is a steal. And as the seller points out, it will definitely be the only one at the show. So if you're looking for a classic ride that's sure to turn heads and start conversations wherever you go, this 1958 Meteor Niagara 300 might just be the car for you. As always, be sure to do your due diligence before making any big purchases. Give this Meteor a thorough inspection, take it for a test drive, and make sure all the paperwork is in order. But if everything checks out, I say go for it. Life's too short to drive boring cars, and this 58 Meteor is anything but boring. 11. We got a real gem to share with you. A 1977 Dodge Aspen wagon that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $6,950. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A station wagon? Really? But trust me, this is no ordinary family hauler. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Aspen. The seller says it's totally rust-free and still wearing its original paint, which is pretty impressive for a car that's over 40 years old. And get this, it's been an Arizona car its whole life, which means it's never had to deal with harsh winters or salty roads. That's a big plus in my book. But here's where things get really interesting. This Aspen wagon is a total sleeper, meaning it looks pretty unassuming on the outside, but under the hood it's packing some serious heat. The seller has swapped in a 360 cubic inch V8 engine with a 4-barrel carburetor, which is a big upgrade over the stock motor. And to handle all that extra power, they've also fitted a sturdy 727 automatic transmission and an 8.75-inch rear end. In other words, this grocery getter can really get up and go. The seller also mentions that this Aspen comes with a bunch of hard-to-find new old stock parts, including taillight lenses, side marker lenses, and even a set of rare bucket seats. That's great news for anyone looking to keep this classic ride in top shape for years to come. Now, I do want to point out that the seller does say the paint could use a good buffing, but honestly, that's a pretty minor issue in the grand scheme of things. And besides, a little patina never hurt anyone, right? The seller also makes a great point about the collectability of station wagons these days. These practical haulers used to be everywhere, but thanks to rust and neglect, they're getting harder and harder to find in good condition. And with its Arizona history and rust-free body, this Aspen wagon is a real survivor. The asking price of $6,950 seems pretty reasonable to me, especially considering all the upgrades and extra parts that come with the car. And with a clean, clear Arizona title, you can buy with confidence knowing that there are no hidden surprises lurking in this wagon's past. So, what do you say, folks? Who's ready to relive the glory days of the station wagon with this sweet 77 Dodge Aspen? It may not be the flashiest car on the block, but with its sleeper status and Arizona history, it's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. Give the seller a call if you're interested, and happy cruising. 12. We're taking a closer look at a 1966 Ford Mustang Coupe that's up for grabs on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this pony is ready to gallop into your garage for just $13,000. First things first, let's talk about what's under the hood. This 66 Mustang is rocking the classic inline-six motor, which is paired with a 3-speed manual transmission. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but I want a V8. And hey, I get it. But don't sleep on the 6-cylinder. It's a reliable, torquey little engine that's perfect for cruising around town or hitting the back roads. The seller notes that this Mustang is mostly stock, which is a big plus in my book. It's always great to find a classic car that hasn't been hacked up or modified beyond recognition. The interior has been redone, so you'll be riding in style and comfort. And get this, the clutch has been rebuilt, so you know it's ready to handle all the gear-shifting action you can throw at it. Now, I do want to point out a couple of minor cosmetic issues. There's a small dent in the back bumper and a few scratches on the driver's side rear fender. But hey, that's just a little character, right? And besides, at this price point, you'd be hard-pressed to find a classic Mustang that doesn't have a few battle scars. The seller also mentions that the suspension is a bit stiff, which is something to keep in mind if you're looking for a silky smooth ride. And the battery might need a charge, but that's an easy fix. One thing that really caught my eye is the condition of the floor pan. The seller says it's in good shape, with no major rust noted. That's a big deal for a car of this age, especially if you're planning on daily driving it or taking it to shows. The odometer shows just 66,000 miles, which is pretty low for a car that's over 50 years old. And while the title status is listed as rebuilt, that's not necessarily a deal breaker. It just means that at some point in the past, the car was either salvaged or had a major repair. As long as the work was done properly and the title is clean, you should be good to go. So what do you say, Mustang fans? Is this 66 Coupe the pony car of your dreams? At $13,000, it's priced pretty competitively for a classic Mustang in this condition. And with its mostly stock appearance and rebuilt clutch, it's ready to hit the road and turn heads wherever it goes. As always, be sure to do your due diligence before pulling the trigger. Give the seller a call or text to schedule an in-person inspection, and maybe bring along a mechanic friend to give it a once-over. But if everything checks out, I say go for it. Life's too short to drive boring cars, and this 1966 Ford Mustang Coupe is definitely not boring. 13. Have I got a treat for you today? We're taking a closer look at a 1980 Cadillac DeVille that's up for grabs on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this is no ordinary land yacht. First off, let's talk about the history of this particular DeVille. According to the seller, this car was actually part of Ronald Reagan's 1980 presidential nomination. Apparently, each of the Republican delegates had the option to buy a Cadillac to be delivered at the 1980 Detroit convention, and the delegate from Florida took them up on that offer. How cool is that? The car was custom ordered with all the bells and whistles you'd expect from a top-of-the-line Cadillac. We're talking a 6-liter V8 engine, power everything, cruise control, tilt and telescoping steering wheel, automatic climate control, and even a power antenna. This thing was loaded. Fast forward to 2018, and the current owner scooped up this piece of American history to use as a daily driver while he was working on another project car. But don't let that fool you. This DeVille has been meticulously maintained by its owner, who just so happens to be a trained mechanic. During his ownership, he's replaced the EGR valve, both catalytic converters, the exhaust system, tires, ignition system, radiator, trunk struts, and the entire AC system, including the lines. And just recently, he replaced the windshield and battery to get the car ready for sale. Now, the seller does note that the car isn't perfect. There are a couple of minor issues, like the radio staying on when the key is turned off, and a broken piece of trim around the driver's side window and door lock controls. But mechanically, this DeVille is said to be in excellent condition. And here's the kicker. The seller has all the original order books, which still look brand new, as well as a commemorative medallion and documentation from GM Heritage. Talk about a complete package. So what's the asking price for this piece of presidential history? The seller has it listed at $8,000, which seems like a pretty fair deal considering the car's pedigree and the work that's been put into it. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's always a good idea to get a thorough inspection before handing over any cash. But if everything checks out, this could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a car with some serious historical significance. So what do you think, folks? Is this 1980 Cadillac DeVille the ultimate piece of presidential memorabilia, or just another old land yacht? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, happy car hunting. 14. We've got a real treat for you, a 1972 Oldsmobile Cutlass that's up for grabs on Craigslist. But before you get too excited, let's take a closer look at what this classic ride has to offer. First off, the good news. This Cutlass is packing a serious punch under the hood with a 455 cubic inch V8 engine that's been rebuilt and paired with a TH 350 automatic transmission. And if you're looking for some extra grip, you'll be happy to know that it's got a 3.42 rear end with a posi traction differential. This thing was built to be a street strip warrior, and according to the seller, it ran a respectable 12.6 seconds at 105 miles per hour in the quarter mile. But here's where things get a little dicey. The seller notes that the motor developed a top-end rattle about 7 years ago, and the car has been garage parked ever since. That means this Cutlass is going to need some work to get it back up and running like it should. The seller also mentions that the car isn't entirely original. The AC has been removed and there are some bubbles under the vinyl top. Never a good sign. And while the car looks great from a distance, the seller admits that it's less perfect up close. Now, I want to be straight with you. This Cutlass is going to need some TLC to get it back to its former glory. But if you're handy with a wrench and have a passion for classic muscle cars, it could be a fun project to take on. The asking price is $7,500 or best offer, which seems a bit steep considering the work that needs to be done. But the seller is willing to take cash, PayPal, or Venmo, so at least you've got some options when it comes to payment. At the end of the day, this 1972 Oldsmobile Cutlass is a classic piece of American muscle car history. It's got a big block V8, a built transmission, and a posi rear end. All the ingredients for a serious street machine. But it's also going to need some work to get it back up and running. And the cosmetic issues might be a turnoff for some buyers. If you're up for the challenge and have the skills to bring this Cutlass back to life, it could be a rewarding project. But if you're looking for a turnkey classic that's ready to hit the road, you might want to keep looking. As always, be sure to do your due diligence before making any big purchases. Give the seller a call, schedule an in-person inspection, and maybe even bring along a mechanic friend to help you assess the car's condition. And if everything checks out and the price is right, who knows? You might just be the proud new owner of a classic 1972 Oldsmobile Cutlass. 15. We're taking a closer look at a 1950 Ford Custom Deluxe that's up for grabs on Craigslist, and let me tell you, this is a real blast from the past. First off, let's talk about the condition of this classic ride. The seller says it's in original condition, which is always a big plus for collectors and purists. There's just something special about a car that's been largely untouched for over 70 years, and this Custom Deluxe definitely fits that bill. Under the hood, you'll find the original flathead 6-cylinder engine, which was a staple of Ford's lineup in the early 1950s. These engines were known for their durability and simplicity, and while they might not have the raw power of a V8, they've got plenty of charm and character. The seller doesn't mention anything about the car's mechanical condition, so it's hard to say whether it runs and drives like it should. But given the age of the car and the fact that it's still rocking its original engine, it's safe to assume that it might need some tweaking and tuning to get it road ready. Cosmetically, the seller provides a photo that shows the car in what appears to be decent shape for its age. The black paint looks shiny and presentable, and the chrome trim and bumpers seem to be intact. Of course, it's hard to get a sense of the car's overall condition from just one photo, so it's always a good idea to see it in person before making any big decisions. The odometer shows just 67,000 miles, which is pretty low for a car that's over 70 years old. Of course, it's entirely possible that the odometer has rolled over at some point, so take that number with a grain of salt. One thing to note is that this Custom Deluxe is a 4-door sedan, which might not be everyone's cup of tea. Some collectors prefer the sportier look of a 2-door coupe or convertible, but there's no denying the practicality and spaciousness of a sedan. The seller is asking $12,500 for this classic Ford, which seems like a fair price considering its age and originality. Of course, the true value of any classic car is in the eye of the beholder, so it's up to you to decide whether this Custom Deluxe is worth the asking price. One thing to keep in mind is that the seller is only accepting voice calls, no text or emails, and they make it clear that they won't entertain any scammers, so be prepared to have a genuine conversation if you're serious about buying this car. At the end of the day, this 1950 Ford Custom Deluxe is a real piece of automotive history. It's a reminder of a time when cars were simple, sturdy, and built to last. And while it might not be the flashiest or fastest ride on the block, it's got a charm and character that's hard to find in modern vehicles. If you're in the market for a classic car that's sure to turn heads and start conversations, This custom deluxe might just be the one for you. Just be sure to do your due diligence, ask plenty of questions, and maybe even bring along a mechanic friend to help you assess the car's condition. So what do you think, folks? Is this 1950 Ford Custom Deluxe a true classic or just another old car? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, happy car hunting. 16. We're taking a look at a 1978 Ford Mustang II that's up for grabs on Craigslist. Now, I know what you might be thinking. The Mustang II isn't exactly the most beloved generation of America's favorite pony car. But before you write this one off, let's take a closer look at what it has to offer. First things first, let's talk about the condition of this 78 Mustang II. The seller says it's in good shape, which is always a plus. They don't go into a ton of detail about the car's overall condition, but they do mention that it's got a clean title and that it's ready to be driven home. That's a good sign that this Mustang II is in decent mechanical shape. Under the hood, you'll find a 4-cylinder engine, which might not be the most exciting power plant in the world. But hey, this is a Mustang II we're talking about. It was never meant to be a fire-breathing muscle car. The 4-cylinder engine should provide decent fuel economy and enough power to get you around town without any trouble. The seller mentions that this Mustang II will come with new tires, which is a nice bonus. New rubber can make a big difference in how a car handles and rides, so it's good to know that this one will have fresh treads. The odometer shows just 63,000 miles, which is pretty low for a car that's over 40 years old. Of course, it's always a good idea to verify the mileage with the seller and to get a sense of the car's overall maintenance history. Cosmetically, the seller provides a photo that shows the car in a bright yellow paint scheme. The color looks great and really makes this Mustang II stand out from the crowd. The body looks straight and free of any major dents or dings, which is always a good sign. Inside, the seller doesn't provide any photos or details about the interior, but given the car's age and mileage, it's safe to assume that the interior might show some signs of wear and tear. That's not necessarily a deal breaker, but it's something to keep in mind if you're looking for a pristine, showroom-fresh car. The seller is asking $6,500 for this 1978 Mustang II, which seems like a fair price considering the car's condition and mileage. Of course, the value of any classic car is always subjective, so it's up to you to decide whether this Mustang II is worth the asking price. At the end of the day, this 1978 Ford Mustang II might not be the most sought-after classic car on the market, but it's still a piece of automotive history. And it's got a certain charm that's hard to deny. If you're looking for a fun, affordable classic car that's ready to hit the road, this Mustang II might just be the one for you. As always, be sure to do your due diligence before making any big purchases. Give the seller a call, schedule an in-person inspection, and maybe even bring along a mechanic friend to help you assess the car's condition. And if everything checks out and the price is right, who knows? You might just be the proud new owner of a classic 1978 Ford Mustang II. 17. The 1964 Oldsmobile Starfire convertible, currently available for sale on Craigslist, is a stunning example of classic American automotive design. With its sleek lines, chrome accents, and distinctive styling, this vehicle is sure to turn heads wherever it goes. The Starfire model, introduced by Oldsmobile in 1961, was designed to compete with the Ford Thunderbird and Buick Riviera, offering a blend of luxury, performance, and style. Under the hood, the Starfire is powered by its original 8-cylinder engine, which has been rebuilt at some point in the past. This rebuild suggests that the engine has been well maintained and should provide reliable performance. The transmission has also been rebuilt, ensuring smooth and precise shifting. The seller mentions that the car runs and drives well, which is a testament to the quality of the rebuilt engine and transmission. In addition to the powertrain, the seller has made significant upgrades to the car's suspension and braking systems. The front suspension and steering have been recently rebuilt, improving the car's handling and drivability. The addition of front disc brakes, a power booster, and a master cylinder further enhances the Starfire's stopping power and safety, making it better suited for modern driving conditions. The exterior of this 1964 Oldsmobile Starfire is finished in its original white paint, which the seller describes as being in good shape. While there may be some minor imperfections or signs of age, the overall appearance of the car is likely to be impressive. The convertible top is power-operated and functional, allowing for easy open-air motoring. However, the seller does mention that the rear window of the convertible top needs replacement, which is something to consider when evaluating the car's overall condition and value. The car sits on new tires and rims, which not only improve its appearance, but also contribute to its overall drivability and safety. The fresh rubber and updated wheels ensure that the Starfire has a solid connection to the road and can handle various driving conditions with confidence. While the odometer shows 31,369 miles, it's crucial to keep in mind that the odometer has rolled over, meaning that the actual mileage of the car is likely much higher. This is not uncommon for classic vehicles of this age, and potential buyers should take this into account when assessing the car's condition and value. The seller's classification of the car's condition as fair suggests that there may be some areas that require attention or restoration, which is to be expected in a vehicle that is over 50 years old. One of the most appealing aspects of this 1964 Oldsmobile Starfire is the availability of service records dating back to the 1990s. These records provide a valuable insight into the car's maintenance history and can help potential buyers understand how well the vehicle has been cared for over the years. A well-documented service history can offer peace of mind and increase confidence in the car's overall condition and reliability. In conclusion, this 1964 Oldsmobile Starfire convertible represents a unique opportunity for classic car enthusiasts and collectors. Its combination of original features, recent upgrades, and overall condition make it an attractive option for those seeking a vintage convertible with character and style. The seller's transparency about the car's condition and the availability of service records demonstrate a level of sincerity and commitment to providing an accurate representation of the vehicle. As with any used vehicle purchase, it is essential for potential buyers to thoroughly inspect the car in person, take it for a test drive, and review all available documentation before making a final decision. By doing so, buyers can ensure that the 1964 Oldsmobile Starfire meets their expectations and aligns with their goals as a classic car owner. At the asking price of $11,000, this Starfire convertible offers a compelling value proposition for those in the market for a vintage American automobile. While it may require some additional attention and investment, the car's overall condition, recent upgrades, and historical significance make it a worthwhile consideration for enthusiasts and collectors alike. 18. The 1978 Buick Skylark Coupe, currently listed for sale on Craigslist at a price of $3,000, presents an interesting opportunity for someone looking for a classic American car with potential as a project vehicle. The seller provides a brief but informative description of the car's condition, highlighting both its strengths and areas that require attention. On the positive side, the seller mentions that the Skylark is running pretty well and has no leaks, which suggests that the car's mechanical components are in decent shape. The vehicle has been registered for an entire year, indicating that it is up to date with legal requirements. Additionally, the seller has invested in new tires and brakes, enhancing the car's safety and drivability. The Skylark is equipped with a 6-cylinder diesel engine, which is paired with an automatic transmission, providing a unique powertrain configuration for its era. The odometer reading of 80,971 miles suggests that the car has been driven relatively sparingly over its 45-year lifespan. However, the seller is transparent about the areas that need improvement. The interior upholstery and exterior paint are mentioned as needing attention, implying that the car's cosmetic condition is not pristine. This is not uncommon for a vehicle of this age, and potential buyers should factor in the cost and effort required to address these issues when considering the purchase. Despite the cosmetic shortcomings, the seller emphasizes that the Skylark is ready to go and will take you anywhere. This statement suggests that the car is mechanically sound and can be relied upon for transportation purposes. The seller also mentions that the car is smog-ready, which is a crucial factor for buyers in regions with strict emissions regulations. The 1978 Buick Skylark Coupe is described as a good candidate for a project car. Its solid mechanical condition, recent maintenance, and unique diesel powertrain make it an attractive option for enthusiasts looking to restore or customize a classic vehicle. The brown paint color, while not specified as original, adds to the car's vintage charm and potential for personalization. In conclusion, this 1978 Buick Skylark Coupe, priced at $3,000, offers a solid foundation for a classic car project. While it does require cosmetic improvements to the upholstery and paint, the seller's description suggests that the car is mechanically sound and ready to be driven. The recent updates to the tires and brakes, along with the car's smog readiness, add to its overall appeal. As with any used vehicle purchase, potential buyers should thoroughly inspect the car in person, take it for a test drive, and assess the extent of the cosmetic work needed before making a final decision. By doing so, they can ensure that the 1978 Buick Skylark aligns with their expectations and project goals. For classic car enthusiasts, this Skylark represents an opportunity to acquire a piece of American automotive history at a relatively affordable price point. With some dedication and effort, this coupe could be transformed into a stunning example of a late 1970s Buick, showcasing its unique diesel powertrain and vintage style. 19. The 1966 Ford Thunderbird Coupe, currently available for sale on Craigslist at a price of $12,900, is a stunning example of a classic American luxury car. This particular Thunderbird boasts an impressive level of originality, making it a highly desirable option for collectors and enthusiasts alike. One of the most notable aspects of this Thunderbird is that it retains its original engine, transmission, rear end, body, and trim. The 390 cubic inch V8 engine, which was a popular choice for the Thunderbird in 1966, is known for its smooth power delivery and impressive performance. The fact that this car still has its original engine is a testament to its well-preserved condition and adds significantly to its value. The seller mentions that the car has a clean Colorado title, which is an important factor for potential buyers. A clean title indicates that the vehicle has not been involved in any major accidents or sustained significant damage, providing peace of mind and assurance of the car's overall integrity. With 106,000 miles on the odometer, this Thunderbird has been enjoyed over the years, but has not been excessively driven. The mileage is relatively low for a car of this age, suggesting that it has been well maintained and cared for throughout its life. The exterior of the car is finished in a beautiful blue paint color, which complements the Thunderbird's classic lines and styling. The seller describes the condition of the car as good, indicating that while it may not be in perfect showroom condition, it presents well and has been well preserved. Mechanically, the seller states that the car runs great, which is an encouraging sign for potential buyers. This suggests that the Thunderbird's original engine, transmission, and rear end are in good working order and that the car is ready to be enjoyed on the road. Inside, the Thunderbird likely features a spacious and luxurious interior, as was typical for this model in 1966. The car's interior condition is not specifically mentioned in the seller's description, so potential buyers may want to inquire further or inspect the car in person to assess the state of the upholstery, dashboard, and other interior components. Overall, this 1966 Ford Thunderbird presents a rare opportunity to acquire a highly original example of a classic American luxury car. Its impressive level of originality, clean title, and good running condition make it an attractive option for collectors and enthusiasts who appreciate the beauty and craftsmanship of vintage automobiles. At the asking price of $12,900, this Thunderbird is competitively priced within the market for well-preserved classic cars. While it may not be the most affordable option for those on a tight budget, it represents a fair value for a car of this caliber and originality. As with any classic car purchase, potential buyers should thoroughly inspect the vehicle in person, take it for a test drive, and review any available documentation to ensure that it meets their expectations and aligns with their goals as a collector or enthusiast. By doing so, they can make an informed decision and potentially acquire a stunning piece of American automotive history in the form of this 1966 Ford Thunderbird. 20. The 1973 Chevrolet El Camino. Currently listed for sale on Craigslist at a price of $8,500, is a stunning tribute to the iconic SS Supersport model. While not an authentic SS, this El Camino has been tastefully modified to capture the essence and style of the high-performance variant. Under the hood, the El Camino is powered by a 350 cubic inch V8 engine, which is a popular choice among enthusiasts for its robust performance and reliability. The seller mentions that the engine is paired with a custom exhaust system, which likely contributes to the car's hot rod sound and enhances its overall driving experience. The seller states that the El Camino runs and drives great, indicating that the mechanical components, including the engine and transmission, are in good working order. This is reassuring for potential buyers, as it suggests that the car has been well maintained and is ready to be enjoyed on the road. The exterior of the car is adorned with SS badges, which pay homage to the Supersport model. While not a genuine SS, the badges add to the car's visual appeal and give it a more aggressive and sporty look. The seller also mentions that the El Camino is equipped with SS rims, further enhancing its aesthetics and completing the SS-inspired appearance. The tires on the El Camino are described as good, which is important for both safety and performance. Good tires provide proper traction, handling, and a comfortable ride, ensuring that the car is enjoyable to drive. The odometer reading of 65,000 miles suggests that the car has been driven relatively sparingly over its lifetime. While the exact maintenance history is not provided, the low mileage is a positive indicator of the car's overall condition and potential longevity. The seller describes the overall condition of the El Camino as good, suggesting that while it may not be in perfect showroom condition, it has been well cared for and presents nicely. Potential buyers should still inspect the car in person to assess the condition of the body, paint, and interior, as well as to verify the functionality of all features and components. One important aspect to consider is that this El Camino is a tribute car and not an authentic SS model. While it has been modified to resemble an SS, it may not have all the genuine SS features or the same collectible value as a true SS. However, for enthusiasts who appreciate the style and performance of the SS but are working with a more modest budget, this tribute El Camino offers an attractive alternative. At the asking price of $8,500, this 1973 Chevrolet El Camino SS tribute car represents a fair value for a well-maintained and visually appealing classic vehicle. Its combination of a strong 350 V8 engine, custom exhaust, good tires, and SS-inspired aesthetics make it a compelling option for collectors and enthusiasts alike. As with any used vehicle purchase, potential buyers should thoroughly inspect the car in person, take it for a test drive, and review any available documentation to ensure that it meets their expectations and aligns with their goals as a classic car owner. By doing so, they can make an informed decision and potentially acquire a stunning and enjoyable piece of American automotive history in the form of this 1973 Chevrolet El Camino SS tribute car.